Chair recognizes Ms. Luna for 5 minutes.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for being here today. I just wanted to start out by saying that probably not just on this committee, but in the entire House of Representatives, I am the only member of Congress that has both survived an armed robbery, a home invasion, a gang shooting on my school campus, and I remember being a young girl and being brought to a cousin's funeral that had been murdered. She was shot. So when I hear people trying to turn this, which is a hearing on a stabilizing brace, into issues of gun violence and raising the topics and concerns of children and violence against children, I would like to remind people that in Washington, Chairman, if I could submit these to the record, in Washington,
So moved.
thank you, we are allowing for late-term abortion, and these babies were born alive. And my colleagues are not acknowledging that. So I just want to put that in perspective, that I don't believe that this is about protecting children. I believe that this is a political argument from people that have not gone through experiences and are seeking to use this platform to write legislation that's unconstitutional. So my following questions are for Ms. Sawyer. Do you believe that firearms and women that have firearms is apparently anti-woman?
Yeah, so this has been something that's been raised several times in this hearing, this idea that guns don't protect women. Of course they do. And I personally take offense at having my natural right to self-defense mansplained to me by members of this body who come to work every day protected by armed men with guns, very much believing that those guns are keeping them safe. And I tend to agree with them that those guns are, in fact, a large component in keeping them safe. I would also point to the defensive gun use database that we run at Heritage. So many of those instances involve women who otherwise would have been at a physical and strength disadvantage, who were able to use essentially self-defense at a distance to take on and defend their rights in ways they otherwise would not have been able to.
Thank you. My next question is for Mr. Bosco. Mr. Bosco, as I'm sure you may know, one of the leading causes of death in this country is obesity. Do you believe that we should place a ban on spoons?
I don't think spoons should be regulated, but if they are regulated, it should be Congress that does it and not the FDA.
Do you believe that somehow controlling someone's spoon access is going to prevent them from becoming obese?
I don't believe that will make any difference, no.
Well, I'm so glad you've clarified, because clearly in this instance, and actually, I'd like to follow up with one more question. For veterans that are disabled, would this law turn those veterans who have served their country, regardless of party affiliation, into criminals?
So this law will place burdens on every American who owns them, and it won't allow people to own this product without following through the process. So will veterans not be able to use the product? They will have to register their firearms and go through a burdensome process of doing it.
If a veteran is unaware that this has passed, would that turn that veteran into a criminal?
Well, anyone who doesn't read where you can find all the regulations is not going to know about it, and they will be subject to a 10-year felony offense. So, and I don't know how many people read promulgation of regulation on their spare time. I know that a lot of us do here, but I can certainly tell you that there's a lot of gun owners in the United States that don't know anything about this.
What the ATF has done with this administration, with the weaponization of this agency to take something that is basically done to aid people that are disabled and then make this about protecting children from a majority of members who have never experienced gun violence and or seen the direct outcome of what happens when bad people obtain guns, of which you will never be able to regulate, is not only an abuse of, I think, authority, but it's unconstitutional. I thank you for being here today, and Chairman, I yield my time.